Welcome back everyone, and thank you for joining me once again as we dive into another unbelievable story from the world of rare coins, a world where ordinary pocket change transforms into unbelievable treasures and where even the most common-looking pieces of metal can hide mysteries, secrets, and rare minting accidents that send collectors into a frenzy. And today we're exploring one of the most shocking, baffling, and eyebrow-raising tales of all, the unbelievable saga of the 1987 1-cent coin that collectors say has soared to a mind-blowing valuation of $330 million because of the unusual errors, freak mistakes, minting oddities, and extraordinary circumstances that some believe may have created one of the strangest and most elusive error coins in American numismatic history. And throughout this entire deep exploration we'll journey through the hidden world of potential mistrikes, overlooked minting flaws, unexpected mechanical anomalies, accidental pattern pieces, impossible off-metal strikes, mysterious transitional features, vanishing details, bizarre die states, and surprising backstage stories from the mint that could all combine to turn a simple, everyday penny into something that collectors whisper about, hunt for obsessively, and dream about discovering in old jars, worn wallets, dusty drawers, and untouched coin rolls. Because when you talk about a supposedly ordinary 1987 penny skyrocketing in value into the hundreds of millions, you're not talking about a normal coin anymore. You're talking about a mixture of legend, speculation, possibility, and the rarest form of minting chaos that can collide in just the right way to create a unicorn unlike anything else. So let's settle in and unravel why this unassuming 1-cent coin from 1987 could, under the right set of extreme circumstances, become one of the most valuable modern coins ever imagined, starting with the idea that during the late 1980s the United States Mint was juggling aging machinery, transitioning equipment, frequent maintenance cycles, high production demands, and a series of mechanical inconsistencies that sometimes created strange die clashes, double designs, broad struck pieces, and completely unexpected planchet anomalies. And for a coin like the 1987 cent, which normally should be nothing more than a copper-plated zinc piece pumped out by the billions, one of the biggest possibilities that collectors theorize about is a dramatic die doubling on the obverse or reverse, so intense and so clean that it would be visible to the naked eye in a way that transforms the coin into something legendary. Because when doubling of that magnitude happens, especially if it's a major class 4 or class V doubling with deep separation and notching, you're not just looking at a minor variety but something that becomes instantly iconic. And for a coin like this to gain the astronomical value of $330 million, believers speculate that it must combine several extreme factors at once, like a double die paired with a rare off-metal striking error, perhaps the result of some leftover copper planchets from the pre-1982 era somehow getting into the press room, a scenario that sounds impossible but has happened on rare occasions when mint employees overlooked bins, mixed materials, or older planchets that got recycled out of sequence. And if even one of those old bronze planchets somehow ended up under the 1987 dies, you would have a transitional off-metal rarity mixed with a major double die event, a combination that would send the coin's value into the stratosphere. And adding to the mystique are theories about a possible mule error, where a 1987 cent obverse might have been accidentally paired with a reverse die from a different year or even a foreign coin, because mule errors are among the most valuable errors in existence due to their extreme rarity and the level of chaos required to create them. And if a mule like that occurred, produced only a couple of strikes, escaped detection, and then accidentally made it into circulation, the rarity value alone would be almost incalculable. And that possibility is part of what fuels the imagination behind this 1987 coin's rumored worth. And some collectors take the mystery even further by suggesting the possibility of a deeply dramatic die break or retained cut that split across Lincoln's portrait or the memorial building on the reverse, the kind of jagged, unmistakable, lightning-like fracture that transforms the entire look of the coin and represents a catastrophic mechanical failure inside the mint's striking chamber. And coins like that, when they survive, often become instant icons because they capture a moment of pure minting chaos frozen in metal. And when you add details like filled dies that cause missing letters, dropped elements, ghost-like features, or partially vanished inscriptions, you create even more uniqueness that could, under the perfect combination, lift the value into unbelievable territory. And then there's the whispering world of ultra-rare pattern coins, the experimental pieces the mint sometimes creates when testing designs, metals, or equipment. And while the official record doesn't mention a known 1987 pattern cent, pattern coins often operate in a realm of secrecy, undocumented trials, and occasional accidental releases. And enthusiasts speculate that if even one experimental 1987 cent existed, perhaps made in a different alloy, struck with a prototype finish, or using a test die, it could easily become one of the most valuable coins in modern American history, especially if it escaped destruction and made its way into public hands. And then there's the dream scenario many collectors imagine. The idea that a perfectly preserved mint-state 1987 cent with an extreme error could exist in virtually flawless condition, something like a grade of MS-69 or even MS-70, which for a copper-plated zinc penny from this period would be nearly impossible due to the fragile surface and the mint's high-speed production methods that nearly always cause small chips, spots, plating blisters, microscopic corrosion, or roller marks, so the thought of a perfect or near-perfect survival combined with a monumental mint error adds to the mythical value, and as we explore more, we find endless layers of theoretical minting irregularities that could make such a coin priceless, like the possibility of an extreme broad strike that flattens the coin dramatically while still showing perfect, well-centered detail, or a double-struck coin with the second strike rotated sharply, creating an unforgettable overlapping image of Lincoln and the memorial, or even a coin struck through foreign material like cloth, wire, grease, or debris, resulting in strange patterns, missing elements, or three-dimensional impressions that create a one-of-a-kind collectible. And when you take all these error types, doubled dies, off-metal strikes, transitional planchets, mules, broad strikes, off-center strikes, double strikes, die breaks, retained cuds, wrong planchets, pattern strikes, strike-through errors, plating anomalies, and ultra-high grades, and imagine them combining into one unbelievable single specimen, you begin to understand why some people spin legends about a 1987 penny reaching values that boggle the mind. Because a coin becomes valuable not just from what it is but from how impossible, how unrepeatable, and how historically unique its creation would need to be. And that's exactly why collectors hunt through their old jars, boxes, estates, and rolls, always hoping that somewhere out there, forgotten in a drawer or hiding in an old bank envelope, lies the one coin that shouldn't exist, the 1987 penny that represents the perfect storm of minting history. A coin so rare that it becomes not just a collectible but a once-in-a-lifetime artifact that turns ordinary people into millionaires overnight. And while no confirmed example has publicly surfaced to match all these extreme theoretical conditions, the fascination remains strong because the world of minting errors is one filled with surprises, unpredictability, and accidents that were never meant to leave the mint at all, yet sometimes they slip through, survive, travel, exchange hands, and live unrecognized for decades before someone finally looks closely enough to realize what they have, and that sense of possibility fuels the never-ending search, drawing new collectors, inspiring treasure hunters, and reminding everyone that even in a world flooded with billions of identical coins, the mint sometimes makes mistakes so extraordinary that they rewrite the value scale entirely. So as we wrap this massive journey into the legend of the 1987 penny and why some believe an extreme specimen could be worth $330 million, remember that stories like this aren't just about coins. They're about mystery, history, possibility, and the thrill of discovery, so keep searching, keep looking, and who knows, maybe the next incredible find is already sitting unnoticed somewhere in your home. And if you enjoyed exploring this fascinating tale of rare coins, make sure you stay connected, share the excitement, and join us again as we uncover more unbelievable stories hidden inside everyday change. Next. 2005 D1 cent coin that rumor says has skyrocketed in value to an astonishing $51 million because of a series of extreme, highly unlikely, and extraordinarily rare minting errors and mechanical accidents that some believe may have combined into a once-in-a-generation numismatic phenomenon. So get ready as we journey into a universe of strange possibilities, minting mistakes, hidden anomalies, and unbelievable quirks that might take an ordinary Denver-minted 2005 penny and transform it into one of the rarest, strangest, and most valuable pieces of modern coinage ever imagined. And as always, welcome to the channel where we explore the hidden stories behind coins that people overlook every day, coins that hide mysteries unnoticed in pockets, drawers, jars, and coin rolls. And today's deep dive begins with the wild speculation swirling around the 2005 D penny, a copper-plated zinc coin produced by the hundreds of millions, a coin so common that most people wouldn't think twice about tossing it into a tip jar or letting it roll under the couch. But in the complicated world of minting errors, even the most ordinary coin can turn into something extraordinary when the right combination of mechanical chaos, timing, equipment malfunctions, and freak accidents collide inside the U.S. Mint. And the 2005 production year at the Denver Mint was one of intense volume, aging equipment, and high-speed coin production, creating perfect conditions for the kind of rare Dramatic mistakes that collectors dream about, starting with one of the most exciting and valuable categories of all, the possibility of a major double die error so dramatic that the doubling would be visible with the naked eye across Lincoln's portrait, his date, the lettering, or even the details of the shield on other denominations. And although the 2005 penny features the classic Lincoln Memorial reverse, collectors speculate that an extreme double die could appear on either side. And when we talk about the kind of double die that could push a coin's value into the tens of millions, we're not talking about minor doubling caused by machine shift or vibration. We're talking about a true hub doubling where the design elements physically appear twice with sharp separation, strong notching, and unmistakable duplicate impressions that would make the coin instantly one of the most breathtaking modern errors ever found. And then we move into the world of off-metal errors, one of the most fascinating and valuable categories of minting mistakes, and collectors know that the early 2000s were a time when the mint was shifting through metals, testing compositions, and dealing with leftover materials from multiple denominations and foreign contracts. And although the official records show nothing unusual for 2005, the world of minting history is full of undocumented instances where a bin of planchets from another denomination or even from a foreign coin order accidentally ended up under the wrong press, creating coins struck on the wrong metal, wrong thickness, wrong weight, or wrong diameter, and a 2005 D penny struck on a planchet meant for a dime, a steel blank, a foreign coin, or a leftover bronze planchet from earlier decades would be an unbelievably valuable rarity, and if combined with another error like doubling, off-centering, or a dramatic die break, the coin's value would climb into astronomical territory. And speaking of die breaks, one of the most visually dramatic possibilities that collectors speculate about is the presence of a massive retained cut or shattered die error, where a portion of the die literally breaks apart inside the striking chamber and produces a coin with huge raised chunks of metal, missing design sections, or lightning-like fractures spreading across Lincoln's face or the memorial building. And coins showing catastrophic die break errors are some of the most prized pieces of minting oddities because they represent a moment when the mint's machinery completely failed yet continued striking coins, creating bizarre, jagged, one-of-a-kind pieces. And if a coin like that survived in pristine condition with the right combination of other errors, it could easily reach a value that would spark global attention. And collectors also speculate about the possibility of a mule error, one of the rarest types of minting mistakes ever recorded, where two dies that were never meant to be paired together end up striking the same coin. And although no official mule pennies from 2005 have been documented, mule errors have occurred in other years and denominations, proving that the mint's complex system of die storage, preparation, and installation is not foolproof. And a coin with a 2005 D penny obverse struck with the wrong reverse die, perhaps from another year, another denomination, or even a foreign coin, would immediately become one of the most valuable modern coins on Earth. And the speculation doesn't end there because the mint in 2005 was still dealing with issues related to plating blisters, die polishing lines, grease-filled dies, and striking debris getting trapped between the die and the planchet, leading to dramatic strike-through errors where foreign objects impressed themselves into the coin's surface, creating bizarre textures, missing design elements, or strange impressions that no other coin shares. And coins struck through cloth, thread, wire, metal shavings, grease, or chunks of broken die steel are among the most captivating modern errors because they capture a physical imprint of the chaos happening inside the machine during the moment of striking. And if a 2005 D penny had a major strike-through that covered large portions of the design, it could easily become one of the most desirable error pennies of the century, especially if the coin also had another high-value error type layered onto it. And one of the most intriguing possibilities collectors discuss is the existence of an ultra-high-grade 2005 D penny combined with a monumental minting error. And because the 2005 pennies were made of fragile copper-plated zinc that scratches easily, corrodes quickly, and often leaves the mint with small imperfections, finding a perfectly preserved mint state example with a dramatic error would be nearly impossible. Yet if one such coin existed in a grade like MS-69 or MS-70, the value would skyrocket, because perfection combined with impossibility creates the ultimate collectible. And that's where the legend of the $51 million value comes in, because for a coin to reach that kind of staggering worth, it wouldn't just be valuable, it would need to be utterly unique, a one-of-a-kind error that has no equal and no comparables, a coin that breaks every rule of minting, a coin that is so impossible that it becomes the centerpiece of modern numismatic discussion. And that's exactly the kind of mythical status collectors imagine when they talk About the 2005 D penny that supposedly holds this incredible value, and while no verified example of such an extreme error has been confirmed in public, the world of numismatics is full of coins that were once thought impossible until someone finally discovered them, coins found in old boxes, inherited collections, forgotten jars, and unsearched bank rolls. Coins that should never have existed according to official records yet still emerged decades later to rewrite collecting history, and that sense of mystery is what keeps collectors searching, dreaming, and hoping, because they know that the mint, despite its precision, has made astonishing mistakes before: wrong dies, wrong metals, misaligned strikes, shattered dies, while doubling, and even entirely undocumented experimental issues. And as long as billions of coins continue to flow through those machines, the possibility of the next great discovery always exists. And so the legend of the 2005 D penny valued at $51 million continues to captivate imaginations, inspire treasure hunters, and fuel countless searches through penny rolls. And while the exact coin behind the rumor remains hidden in mystery, the possibility of such a coin existing is what makes the hunt thrilling, because somewhere out there in a forgotten drawer or dusty tin, a coin could be waiting that combines every rare minting anomaly into a once-in-a-lifetime masterpiece, a coin that could turn an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight. And stories like this remind us that rare coins are more than metal. They are pieces of history, mysteries waiting to be uncovered, and treasures hidden in plain sight. So keep searching, keep looking, and who knows, maybe your next handful of change will hold the unbelievable. And if you enjoyed exploring the incredible story behind this legendary 2005 D penny and its rumored $51 million value, stay connected, share the excitement, and join us again as we uncover more hidden treasures waiting inside everyday pocket change. Next, 1991 cent coin that has captured the imagination of collectors everywhere and is rumored to be worth an astounding $34 million because of a complex web of potential mint errors, mechanical mistakes, rare anomalies, and unexpected features that might have come together in a way that makes this coin one of the most mysterious and potentially valuable Lincoln cents ever discussed in the modern era. So welcome back to the channel where we explore hidden treasure in everyday change and bring to life those unbelievable stories that could be hiding right inside your home, your wallet, your purse, or that old dusty jar of coins sitting quietly in the back of your drawer. Stories like this one about the 1990 penny, a coin the mint produced by the billions, and yet one that might hold secrets so rare that collectors believe a single extraordinary specimen could reach a value so staggering that it sounds like fiction. And yet time after time history has shown us that the rarest errors, the most dramatic minting accidents, and the most unusual oversights can turn ordinary coins into miracles of value. And that possibility is exactly what makes this story so exciting, because the 1990 cent was produced during a time when the US Mint was running its machinery harder than ever, using aging equipment, high-speed presses, changing procedures, new polishing schedules, and intense production demands that sometimes allowed strange, unpredictable, and extremely rare mistakes to slip through the cracks unnoticed, creating hidden treasures that would only be discovered years or decades later by sharp-eyed collectors. And when we talk about the potential errors that could make a 1990 penny worth $34 million, we're not talking about small, ordinary mistakes like minor machine doubling or light die wear. We're talking about the kind of extreme, dramatic, once-in-a-lifetime error that would transform the coin into a legendary rarity, starting with one of the most fascinating possibilities of all, a major double die error so intense and so clean that the doubling is visible across Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, the date, or the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Because true double dies aren't caused by the coin being struck twice, they're caused by a major mistake in the die creation process, a moment when the hub impresses the design onto the die more than once in slightly different positions, creating duplicated design elements with sharp notching, clear separation, and dramatic visual impact. And major double dies are among the most valuable errors in coin collecting history because they are so rare and so striking to look at. And if a 1990 coin with a double die of that magnitude existed and survived in pristine condition, its value could skyrocket into the multi-million-dollar range instantly. And then there's the world of transitional errors and off-metal strikes, which are among the rarest and most valuable types of minting mistakes ever discovered, because the 1990 penny should, under normal circumstances, be made from copper-plated zinc, a composition the mint had been using since mid-1982, but collectors know that sometimes leftover planchets from previous years or special test planchets accidentally make their way into the presses during normal production, creating coins struck on the wrong metal. And if even one bronze planchet from the pre-1982 era or a foreign coin blank or a leftover experimental planchet ended up beneath the 1990 dies, the resulting coin would be an extraordinary collectible since off-metal errors command extremely high prices, and if this off-metal occurrence were combined with another dramatic error like major doubling or a huge die break, the value would compound exponentially, which is part of how collectors imagine that this particular coin could reach a valuation as high as $34 million, and speaking of dramatic errors, one of the most visually striking and valuable types is the massive die break or retained cud, a catastrophic die failure where a piece of the die literally breaks off or cracks severely, causing raised, irregular, dramatic sections of metal on the finished coins, and coins struck during that period of die destruction often look surreal, with huge raised blobs of metal, missing design sections, or jagged lightning-like fractures running through the coin's artwork, and if a 1990 penny existed with a huge die break across Lincoln's head or the Lincoln Memorial, especially in its earliest strike stages before the break was fully exposed, collectors would view it as a rare and historically significant treasure from the mint's mechanical breakdowns, and paired with another extraordinary error, it could easily become priceless. And another possibility that stirs the imagination is the mule error, one of the rarest types of minting accidents possible, where two dies that were never meant to be paired together end up striking the same coin, and mules have appeared before, such as the famous mule involving the Sacagawea dollar paired with the Washington quarter obverse, proving that even in modern minting environments, strange and shocking mistakes can happen. And if a mule error occurred in 1990 with a penny, perhaps pairing the obverse of a Lincoln cent with a reverse from another denomination or another year, it would instantly become one of the rarest modern coins ever produced, with a value that could easily reach the tens of millions, especially if it existed in only a single specimen or a very tiny handful. And collectors also speculate about dramatic strike-through errors, where foreign objects such as cloth, thread, wire, grease, polishing compound, metal shavings, or even chunks of broken die steel get caught between the die and the planchet during striking, causing portions of the design to disappear, warp, smear, or take on strange textures that no other coin has. And strike-through errors can range from subtle to breathtakingly dramatic, and a massive strike-through occurring during a 1990 production run could produce a coin so bizarre and visually captivating that collectors would bid huge amounts for it, and if that coin then coincidentally possessed one or two additional stacking errors such as doubling or off-metal striking, the rarity and value would be astronomical. And another area collectors speculate about is the possibility of a 1990 no-s proof variant escaping the mint in circulation quality, since the famous 1990 no-s Lincoln cent is already one of the most famous modern rarities worth tens of thousands of dollars, and if some theoretical unusual version of this event occurred on a circulation strike, or if a proof strike somehow ended up without the proper identifying mint mark and traveled into public hands and then combined with additional minting errors, the resulting coin would become one of the most important modern rarities ever discovered, easily capable of reaching the legendary multi-million-dollar status that sparks the imagination of collectors today. And then there's the question of grade, because grade plays a huge role in coin value, and the 1990 penny, made of fragile copper-plated zinc, is notorious for its susceptibility to corrosion, plating blisters, microscopic cracks, surface contamination, and damage from even slight contact, meaning that nearly no circulation examples survive in flawless or near-flawless condition. And that's exactly what makes the idea of a perfect mint-state error penny so extraordinary, because if a 1990 penny with any major error somehow survived in MS-68, MS-69, or the almost mythical MS-70 grade, its value would skyrocket exponentially due to its absolute impossibility, making it not only a rare error but also one of the finest known examples of an entire production year, and the combination of rarity and perfect preservation is one of the most powerful drivers of value in numismatics. And then we must consider the possibility of double-struck or multiple-struck 1990 pennies, coins that were struck more than once either on-center or with the second strike rotated or off-center, creating overlapping impressions that collectors love. And if a 1990 penny was struck twice with dramatic rotation or extreme off-centering, especially if the second strike was crisp and clear, the coin would instantly become a coveted rarity. And combining that with another error like a wrong planchet, die crack, mule configuration, or strike-through could produce a coin unlike anything else on Earth, a coin that would generate headlines and bidding wars. And these combinations of extreme errors are exactly why some collectors believe that an extraordinary 1990 penny could theoretically reach a monstrous value like $34 million, because coin value in the world of extreme errors is determined not by the typical price guides but by the one-of-a-kind nature of the piece, the impossibility of replicating it, and the historical significance of the minting accident that created it. and when a coin becomes the only one of its kind, or part of a microscopic population. Next. 2011 1-cent coin that collectors speculate could be worth an astonishing $19 million because of a potential combination of extreme minting errors, mechanical failures, hidden anomalies, and rare production oddities that might have created a coin so unusual and so impossible that its value skyrockets into the realm of modern numismatic legends. So welcome back to the channel where we explore hidden treasures buried inside everyday coins, where we reveal the mysteries behind objects people handle every day without even realizing the secrets they contain. And today we take a deep dive into the 2011 penny, a coin so common that millions of people have tossed it into jars, drawers, pockets, cars, and kitchen counters without even looking at it twice. Yet beneath that ordinary copper-plated surface lies the possibility of one of the most valuable minting mistakes of the modern era, because 2011 was a year in which the mint produced billions of zinc pennies under intense pressure, high-speed machinery, aging equipment, and constantly shifting production demands, all of which set the perfect stage for extremely rare errors that could slip through unnoticed. And when we talk about a penny supposedly worth $19 million, we're stepping into the realm of extraordinary possibilities, the kind of unique, dramatic, once-in-a-generation errors that go far beyond ordinary doubling, minor die chips, or small plating flaws, because the only way a 2011 penny could possibly reach a value that high is if it carries a combination of rare, extreme mint errors that make the coin not only valuable but literally one of a kind. And that's where our journey begins, because expert collectors have long speculated that somewhere out there could exist a 2011 penny with a catastrophic double die error so dramatic that the doubling is visible across Lincoln's profile, the date, the motto, or the shield reverse. And when we talk about serious double dies, we're not talking about minor mechanical doubling caused by loose dies or vibration. We're talking about true hub doubling, where the die itself got the design impressed more than once in slightly different alignment, creating strong, clear, sharp doubled lines that you can see with the naked eye. And true double dies of this magnitude are extremely rare in modern years because the mint improved its die-making process. But rare does not mean impossible, and throughout history collectors have found dramatic double dies in years that nobody expected, proving the mint is not immune to human error, technological oversight, or unexpected die misalignment. And if such a double die existed on a 2011 penny, especially in pristine condition, its value could already reach hundreds of thousands or even millions. But to reach 19 million, the coin needs something more, something beyond doubling alone, leading us into the possibilities of off-metal errors, which are among the most valuable and exciting mistakes in all of coin collecting history. And although the 2011 penny should be made from copper-plated zinc standardized since 1982, collectors know that the mint sometimes stores multiple types of planchets from foreign contracts, experimental tests, or leftover inventory from previous years, and extremely rarely, one of those foreign or wrong metal planchets accidentally gets fed into the wrong press, creating a coin struck on a metal composition that should never have been used. And if a 2011 penny were struck on a leftover steel planchet, a foreign copper nickel blank, an unplated zinc disc, or even an old bronze planchet somehow left behind from decades earlier, that alone would make it one of the rarest modern US coins in existence. And if that wrong planchet strike combined with a dramatic double die, you suddenly have a coin that is not just rare but the only possible example in the entire world. And that is where values enter the extreme multi-million-dollar range. But the possibilities don't stop there, because the mint in 2011 was dealing with intense production volumes. And that leads to another category of breathtaking errors: major die breaks, retained cuds, shattered dies, or catastrophic die fractures, where the die cracks under pressure and begins producing coins with massive raised areas, missing portions of design, jagged ridges, or lightning bolt-shaped cracks across the surface. And when a modern coin shows a huge retained cud or shattered die error, especially on the fragile copper-plated zinc planchets that tend to split, bubble, and warp under stress, collectors take notice, because such coins are among the rarest modern errors. And if a 2011 penny existed with a massive die break across Lincoln's portrait or shield, especially during the initial moment when the die fractured sharply, the coin would be worth an enormous amount. And if that same coin also had a double die or was struck on the wrong metal, the rarity would multiply exponentially, creating the kind of one-of-a-kind treasure that could realistically be worth $19 million to the right buyer or institution. And then we enter the mysterious and incredibly rare world of mule errors, one of the mint's most famous accidental creations, where a coin is struck using two dies that do not belong together. And while extremely rare, mule errors have happened multiple times in US mint history, proving that even in carefully Controlled environments, mistakes slip through, dies get mixed up, and unexpected combinations strike coins that should never exist, and a mule involving a 2011 penny, perhaps paired with a reverse from another denomination, another year, or even a foreign contract die, would instantly become one of the most valuable modern errors ever discovered. And if that mule also had another major error layered onto it, such as doubling, wrong metal strike, or a dramatic strike through, the coin's value would climb into legendary territory, because the more errors a single coin contains, the more impossible it becomes, and the more impossible it becomes, the more collectors will pay. And another powerful category of rare errors lies in strike-through mistakes, where foreign objects such as wire, cloth, thread, metal shavings, grease, dust, or pieces of broken die steel get trapped between the coin blank and the dies during striking, leaving portions of the design missing or distorted, or leaving a physical impression of the trapped object embedded into the coin's surface. And modern strike-throughs can be spectacular, especially when large or involving unusual materials, and if a 2011 penny were struck through something dramatic like a piece of die steel or a large fragment of metal, causing huge missing portions of the design, the coin would immediately grab massive attention, especially if it was preserved in high grade. And when collectors imagine how a coin could reach a value of $19 million, they often imagine a combination of multiple extraordinary errors occurring at once, because the most valuable coins in history are often the result of multiple accidents layered together, forming a coin that should not exist under any circumstances. And 2011 pennies, being copper-plated zinc, are notoriously fragile and prone to plating bubbles, cracks, delamination, peeling, and blistering. And while most of these flaws are minor and common, extreme plating anomalies, such as full surface peeling, missing plating, exposed zinc core with dramatic shape changes, or massive blistering that distorts the design, are much rarer and visually striking, especially if they occurred during the very first strikes of a new die. And if a 2011 penny had both extreme plating anomalies and another rare error like a misaligned die clash, double strike, or wrong planchet strike, the coin would be an extraordinary rarity worth far more than ordinary error coins. But what truly pushes a coin into the multimillion-dollar range is not just the presence of rare errors but the condition of the coin, because high-grade modern errors are far more valuable than circulated ones, and the 2011 penny, made from fragile copper-plated zinc, rarely survives in perfect condition due to its susceptibility to scratching, corrosion, environmental damage, and plating flaws. So if a 2011 penny with multiple extreme minting errors somehow survived in an ultra-high grade like MS 68, MS 69, or especially MS 70, the value would skyrocket, because the combination of extreme rarity and near-perfect preservation is what drives prices into extraordinary levels. And this is where the $19 million speculation originates, a hypothetical coin with an unprecedented combination of errors, struck on the wrong metal, with dramatic doubling, a massive die break, a strike-through event, or even a mule pairing, all preserved in breathtaking mint-state condition, making it the only one of its kind in the world. And history has shown time and time again that coins once thought impossible have appeared decades later in unexpected places, found in jars, inherited collections, old envelopes, forgotten rolls from banks, or random pieces of spare change, proving that the mint does make unbelievable mistakes that escape into circulation undetected. And collectors know that the thrill of searching for such a treasure is part of the entire experience. Next, 2003 1-cent coin, a seemingly simple and ordinary Lincoln Memorial penny that most people would overlook without a second thought, yet in the strange, unpredictable universe of mint errors, mistrikes, planchet blunders, die issues, transitional anomalies, and accidental production quirks, this particular 2003 1-cent has become the center of a legend claiming it could be worth a jaw-dropping $48 million, and while the number itself sounds like something out of a dream, the deeper we explore the story, the more we uncover the layers of mystery, oddities, possibilities, and the kinds of mistakes that collectors go wild for. So get comfortable and stay with me all the way through, because as we unravel the twists and turns behind what makes a 2003 penny so valuable, you might find yourself looking differently at every coin in your pocket. And as we welcome you into this fascinating journey through numismatic history, manufacturing errors, and the unpredictable world of rare coin valuations, let's begin by imagining the life of a seemingly normal 2003 Lincoln cent, a coin minted during a period when the United States Mint had already switched to the copper-plated zinc composition, a time when billions of pennies were being produced each year, making it one of the most common coins in circulation. And yet hidden within that massive production were a handful of coins that did not follow the rules, coins that slipped through the cracks of quality control, and coins that would eventually become the stuff of legend thanks to the wild and unexpected world of mint errors, starting with the concept of wrong planchet strikes, which is one of the most dramatic and valuable types of mistakes possible, and in the case of the 2003 penny, there have been rumors and discussions about a tiny handful being struck on bronze planchets left over from decades earlier, a near impossibility considering the mint supposedly cleared out all bronze planchets after the transition in 1982, but the possibility of leftover metal being struck in later decades is something collectors never dismiss entirely, and whenever a coin appears that doesn't match the expected weight, color, or metallic tone, even if the differences are tiny, it sends shockwaves through the collecting community because transitional planchet errors are among the most sought-after rarities, and when combined with the right year, the right minting circumstances, and extreme scarcity, the value skyrockets faster than nearly any other type of mistake, and that's only the beginning because the 2003 penny is also surrounded by discussions about off-center strikes that go far beyond the ordinary, with some collectors claiming to have seen examples where the strike is dramatically off, leaving massive blank crescent-shaped regions of the coin while still preserving enough design elements to be classified as a premium mint error, and the more dramatic the off-center alignment, the more insane the price can become, especially when the date is fully visible, which is one of the most important factors in turning an already rare error into a once-in-a-lifetime mega rarity. And then there are double die errors, which have always captured the imagination of collectors, because doubled letters, doubled digits, doubled facial features, or doubled elements on Lincoln's portrait can transform a coin from pocket change into a museum-worthy treasure, and though official sources do not list a major 2003 doubled die, that does not mean unusual varieties don't exist, because minor doubled dies, misalignments, die fatigue, mechanical doubling, and rotational doubling all have the potential to create unique features on individual coins, and in the modern era where billions of coins are minted, collectors know that mistakes slip through from time to time, and when they do, and when one example stands out from all the others, it becomes a rare treasure, and once a rare treasure gets a story attached to it, especially a story about extreme value and shocking rarity, the legend grows faster than the mint could ever imagine, and alongside the double dies, another type of error always gets collectors talking, the die cracks and die breaks, sometimes referred to as cuds, which occur when part of the die breaks off and leaves behind a raised blob of metal on the finished coin, resulting in dramatic imperfections, jagged lines, or swollen areas around Lincoln's portrait, or the memorial reverse, and the more dramatic the break, the more collectors crave it, because it turns a mass-produced coin into a one-of-a-kind oddity that represents a moment when the minting machine itself was breaking down. And then there are broad strikes, where the retaining collar fails and the coin is struck without the usual pressure, causing it to spread out slightly larger than normal, which is one of the most visually obvious and collectible errors, and although broad-struck pennies from 2003 do exist, the extremely high valuation narrative always revolves around a coin that combines multiple rare features at once, such as being broad-struck, off-center, struck on a wrong planchet, possessing doubling, and showing signs of die deterioration, which is precisely why rumors develop about coins worth tens of millions, because the rarer the combination, the higher the fantasy price, and collectors love to imagine the most extreme possibilities, and pushing the imagination even further. Some stories suggest a 2003 penny struck using a mismatched die pair, which means a die intended for a different year or different design was accidentally paired with the wrong die, leading to a hybrid coin, and while the mint's official procedures aim to prevent this, mistakes have happened throughout history, from the famous mule errors where coins were struck using mismatched obverse and reverse designs, and such mistakes have sold for staggering amounts, making it easy for stories of similar possibilities in the 2003 series to grow into tales of outrageous value. And beyond all these error types, the human imagination plays a crucial role in turning a strange coin into a legendary coin, because collectors love mysteries, they love the idea of hidden treasures, and they love the concept that a coin floating around today might secretly be worth more than the most expensive luxury cars, houses, or even large businesses. And when a story spreads that one particular 2003 penny might have been sold privately or valued informally at $48 million, even if unverified, the excitement alone is enough to keep the rumor alive indefinitely, and once a rumor takes hold, future collectors, treasure hunters, and curious individuals push the story further, sometimes adding new details like hypothetical multiple errors, speculation about how a planchet mix-up might have occurred, or ideas about a unique strike that happened during a brief malfunction in one of the mint's presses, and these layers of speculation spiral into a grand narrative that transforms an ordinary coin into an almost mythical artifact. And even though the true documented value of actual 2003 era pennies in the public marketplace is far more modest, the legend persists because collectors want to believe that anything is possible in the world of coin errors. And indeed, the history of numismatics shows us time and time again that seemingly impossible mistakes do happen, such as coins struck on nail blanks, coins struck on foreign planchets, coins with upside-down reverses, coins with missing layers or split plating, coins with incomplete strikes caused by debris lodged inside the die, coins with lamination peels that expose the underlying zinc core in dramatic patterns, and coins with drastic misalignments that create wild shapes and uneven borders. And each of these unexpected anomalies reminds us that minting is a mechanical process, and no matter how precise the machinery is supposed to be, flaws can and do occur, and when they do, collectors chase them with relentless passion, especially when the coin in question is from a modern year like 2003, because finding modern errors in circulation creates the thrilling possibility that anyone might stumble upon something extraordinary in pocket change. And the emotional power of that possibility is what fuels stories about unbelievable valuations, and this brings us to the psychology of collecting, where rarity, storytelling, speculation, and desire all combine to elevate a coin far beyond its physical metal value, because a penny might cost a fraction of a cent to produce, yet if it possesses the right combination of errors, the right origin story, the right scarcity, and the right mystique, its theoretical value in the minds of collectors can reach astronomical levels. And when even one collector somewhere believes that a particular 2003 penny is so unique that it deserves a valuation of $48 million, that belief alone can create the legend, and legends spread quickly, inspiring others to dream, to search, and to analyze every detail of their own coins in hopes of discovering something equally extraordinary. And as we continue exploring the possibilities behind the legendary 2003 1-cent era coin, it's important to understand how certain conditions like die polishing, die abrasion, strike doubling, gas bubbles beneath the copper plating, plating blisters, improperly annealed planchets. Next, 1992 Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that at first glance might seem ordinary and unremarkable but hides behind its small copper-plated zinc surface the possibility of extreme mint errors, rare anomalies, and unusual mistakes that could transform it into a piece worth a staggering $70 million in the eyes of collectors, investors, and enthusiasts who understand the unpredictable and sometimes magical world of numismatics. And today we are going to explore every facet of why a 1992 penny could reach such an unbelievable value, the kinds of errors and mistakes that could make it so sought after, the historical context of its production, the technical possibilities that arise from die failures, planchet errors, striking anomalies, off-center strikes, doubled dies, mules, and other catastrophic minting mistakes, as well as the psychological and market forces that turn these anomalies into multi-million-dollar valuations. So welcome back to the channel where we explore hidden treasures in everyday coins and uncover the mysteries and secrets that are hiding in plain sight, because this story is one that reminds us that even the smallest pieces of change can hold monumental surprises. And to understand why the 1992 penny could be worth $70 million, we first have to look at the year 1992 itself, a period when the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies annually, a time of intense pressure on production lines, aging equipment, high-speed presses, and rigorous schedules, all of which created the perfect environment for mistakes, anomalies, and unpredictable results to slip through undetected. And while the vast majority of 1992 pennies were ordinary, standard copper-plated zinc coins, the laws of probability, historical precedent, and the mechanics of coin production suggest that at least a few could have emerged with errors so extreme that they would be considered legendary in the numismatic world, starting with one of the most famous and well-documented error possibilities associated with the 1992 penny, the close AM variety, where the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin are struck unusually close together due to a die anomaly, creating a visual misalignment that is immediately noticeable to the trained eye. And although this particular variety is known in collector circles and has achieved very high auction prices, it also serves as a gateway into imagining what other, even more extreme and rarer errors might have occurred during that year, because die anomalies often present in combinations, with one small misalignment giving rise to a cascade of effects that can dramatically alter a coin's final appearance. And this is precisely where the possibility of a $70 million 1992 penny comes from, the idea that multiple rare mistakes could converge on a single coin, producing a one-of-a-kind artifact that would be unmatched anywhere in the world, and one of the first such Possibilities to consider is a major doubled die, where the die itself receives multiple impressions from the hub in slightly different positions, causing dramatic doubling across Lincoln's portrait, the date, or the lettering on the reverse, and doubled dies have a long history of producing some of the most valuable coins in existence. From the 1955 doubled die sent to modern examples that achieve extraordinary prices, and if a 1992 penny existed with a dramatic doubled die in combination with the close AM anomaly, the value would already be elevated far above ordinary collector expectations, but the possibilities don't stop there, because off-metal strikes are another extremely valuable and rare type of error, and while the 1992 penny should have been struck on a copper-plated zinc planchet, it is theoretically possible for a leftover bronze planchet from decades earlier, or even a foreign planchet or experimental metal blank, to have been mistakenly fed into the press, creating a coin with a completely unexpected metallic composition. And collectors are well aware that off-metal errors, especially in modern coins, are exceedingly rare and highly prized, particularly when they combine with other anomalies like double dies, off-center strikes, or die breaks, which leads us to consider another fascinating possibility for the 1992 penny, the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned with the die at the moment of striking, producing coins that show partial design elements with blank, unstruck areas along the edges, and the more extreme the off-centering, the more visually dramatic and collectible the coin becomes, and if a 1992 penny were struck severely off-center yet retained a fully visible date and portions of the design, it could already be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions, but when combined with other rare features, it could enter the realm of tens of millions. And speaking of dramatic errors, die breaks and cuds are another critical element to consider, because dies are under tremendous pressure during striking, and sometimes sections of the die fracture or break off completely, leaving raised, irregular blobs of metal on the finished coin, jagged areas, or missing portions of the design, and such errors are among the most dramatic and visually striking in coin collecting, creating coins that appear almost alien and surreal. And in a modern 1992 penny, the combination of a large die break with a close AM anomaly and possible double die features would be virtually unparalleled, instantly elevating the coin to legendary status, and collectors also imagine the potential for a mule error, which occurs when two dies that were never intended to be paired strike the same coin, producing hybrid coins that are recognized instantly by their mismatched obverse and reverse designs, and while mules are exceedingly rare, their historical precedent shows that even modern mints are not immune to mistakes, and a hypothetical 1992 penny mule that combined a regular obverse with an experimental or foreign reverse, or a mismatched die pairing, would be one of the rarest modern coins imaginable, and when you combine this with off-center striking, die breaks, double dies, and unusual planchet compositions, you begin to see how collectors imagine a coin that could plausibly reach $70 million, because in the world of extreme error coins, value is driven not only by rarity but by the improbability of the combination, the visual drama, and the historical significance of the minting mistake, and beyond mechanical errors, there is also the element of condition, which is absolutely critical in modern coins, because copper-plated zinc pennies are extremely fragile and prone to corrosion, scratches, plating delamination, blisters, and surface damage, and finding a coin with multiple extreme errors that also survives in pristine mint state condition is exceedingly rare, and when it does occur, the price potential becomes astronomical, because the combination of extreme rarity, visual impact, and perfect preservation is the ultimate formula for multi-million-dollar valuation, and collectors know that for modern pennies like those from 1992, the survival of a pristine example is itself a miracle, and if that miracle coincides with multiple major errors, the resulting coin could achieve valuations previously thought impossible, and beyond that, the excitement and speculative value in the market play a massive role, because collectors, investors, and institutions drive prices higher when they believe a coin is unique or historically significant, and the legend of a 1992 penny worth $70 million has been fueled by stories, speculation, auction chatter, and imagination over decades, creating a mythos around the coin that elevates its perceived value even further, and while we cannot verify every claim, the exploration of possibilities is what makes the story so captivating, because we can imagine the coin being struck on the wrong metal, with a double die, severely off-center, with a massive die break, with a mule configuration, in perfect mint state condition, and perhaps exhibiting other unusual anomalies such as die clash marks, strike-through objects, or extreme die deterioration, and that single hypothetical coin would be the ultimate collector's dream, capable of capturing the attention of museums, private collectors, Investors, and numismatic historians, and even the pursuit of such coins fuels ongoing searches through inherited collections, old coin jars, forgotten bank rolls, and long-neglected coin boxes, because history shows that the rarest and most valuable coins are often discovered in the most ordinary places, hidden in plain sight until the right person recognizes their significance. And this is precisely why the legend of the 1992 penny continues to captivate collectors, because the combination of historical precedent, mechanical possibility, extreme rarity, high-grade preservation, market speculation, and the sheer improbability of multiple errors occurring together allows enthusiasts to imagine a coin that is essentially priceless. And when we consider the close AM variety as part of the equation, the double die potential, off-center strikes, die breaks, mules, strike-throughs, metal anomalies, and perfect mint state preservation, we can begin to understand how collectors have envisioned a coin worth $70 million. Next. 1993 Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that, at first glance, looks just like any other penny minted in the early 1990s, but in reality, holds the potential to be worth an astonishing $1.9 million due to a combination of rare mint errors, unusual anomalies, mechanical mistakes, and other extraordinary features that make it one of the most sought-after and valuable modern-era coins in existence. And if you are a collector, a treasure hunter, or simply someone fascinated by the hidden stories behind everyday objects, this is the story that will open your eyes to the immense possibilities that can exist in the world of numismatics, because while billions of pennies were produced in 1993 across both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the sheer volume of coins produced that year, combined with high-speed presses, aging equipment, and the enormous pressure of mass production, created the perfect environment for mistakes, anomalies, and errors to occur, some so rare and dramatic that they would be considered once-in-a-lifetime finds. And the story of the 1993 penny that could be worth $1.9 million begins with the concept of die errors, one of the most common and fascinating types of mistakes in coin collecting. And a die error occurs when the metal die used to strike the coin is flawed in some way, whether due to mechanical fatigue, misalignment during hubbing, excessive polishing, cracks, or other imperfections, and the result is a coin that displays abnormalities such as double dies, repunched mint marks, die clashes, die breaks, cuds, or other irregularities. And in the case of the 1993 penny, collectors have identified multiple varieties where the dies might have produced subtle or dramatic anomalies, and these anomalies, while often overlooked by the untrained eye, can have immense value when they create unique and verifiable patterns that are unmatched by other coins. And one of the most exciting types of die errors that could exist on a 1993 penny is the double die, where the design is impressed twice on the die in slightly different positions, creating a visually striking doubling effect that can be seen on the date, on Lincoln's profile, on the lettering, or even on the reverse of the coin. And double dies have a long history of creating some of the most valuable coins ever sold at auction. From the 1955 double die cent to modern examples that command extraordinary prices, and while the 1993 penny is not known for the most dramatic double dies, collectors are always on the lookout for subtle variations, extreme examples, or previously undocumented anomalies that could elevate a coin from ordinary to exceptional. And when we combine double dies with other rare error possibilities, the potential value skyrockets, because collectors prize coins that contain multiple errors, especially when they are visually dramatic, historically significant, and preserved in pristine condition. And speaking of multiple errors, another critical category to consider is off-center strikes, which occur when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned within the coin press at the moment of striking, and the result is a coin that is partially struck, with blank areas showing along one or more edges. And while small off-center strikes are fairly common and can be interesting to collectors, extreme off-center strikes on a coin like the 1993 penny, particularly one where the date remains fully visible and the design elements are dramatically misaligned, are exceedingly rare and highly valuable. And if a 1993 penny were to feature a severe off-center strike combined with other anomalies such as a double die, die cracks, or a misaligned mint mark, the coin would instantly become one of the rarest and most valuable modern pennies in existence. And in addition to die and strike errors, planchet errors are another fascinating and highly valuable category of mistakes. And while the 1993 penny should have been struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet introduced in 1982, it is theoretically possible for a leftover bronze planchet from earlier years, a foreign planchet, or an experimental metal blank to have been mistakenly fed into the press, producing a coin with an unexpected metallic composition. And collectors are well aware that off-metal strikes, particularly in modern coins, are among the rarest and most sought-after mistakes. and such a coin, especially if preserved in mint state condition, would be worth an extraordinary amount. And when we consider the combination of off-metal strikes, doubled dies, off-center strikes, die breaks, and other anomalies, we begin to see how a single coin could reach the theoretical value of $1.9 million, because in the world of rare error coins, it is the improbability of the combination, the visual drama, and the uniqueness of the coin that drives extreme valuations. And beyond mechanical errors, we must also consider the role of condition in determining value, because modern copper-plated zinc pennies are extremely fragile, prone to scratching, corrosion, plating delamination, blisters, and surface damage. And finding a coin that combines multiple extreme errors and survives in pristine mint state condition is extraordinarily rare. And when such a coin is discovered, collectors, investors, and institutions are willing to pay staggering sums to acquire it, because the combination of rarity, visual impact, and perfect preservation is the ultimate formula for multimillion-dollar value. And even beyond condition, the human element of belief, imagination, and speculation plays a massive role in the perceived value of coins like the 1993 penny, because collectors love the idea of hidden treasures, secret rarities, and impossible mistakes that could be lying unnoticed in drawers, jars, or rolls of change. And when a story spreads that a coin might exist with an unusual combination of errors and extreme rarity, the legend grows, inspiring others to search, investigate, and analyze every coin they encounter, looking for that one miraculous find. And this is precisely how coins acquire almost mythical valuations, because the story, the hunt, and the speculation become part of the coin's value. And in the case of the 1993 penny, collectors imagine scenarios where multiple extreme errors converge on a single coin, perhaps a doubled die, an off-center strike, a die break, a misaligned or repunched mint mark, a strike through event where debris is embedded in the coin, or even an off-metal planchet. And when you combine these factors with the coin surviving in flawless mint state condition, you have a one-of-a-kind coin that could realistically reach $1.9 million. And history has shown that coins with multiple anomalies often achieve the highest auction prices, especially when they are modern coins, because modern coins are mass-produced, and discovering a coin with extreme errors from a high production year is much rarer than finding a single error in older coins with smaller mintages. And the rarity of modern errors adds to the excitement and value, because it demonstrates that even in an era of advanced machinery, human error, mechanical failure, and material anomalies can produce coins that are truly extraordinary. And when collectors imagine the 1993 penny with all these features, they envision a coin that represents the intersection of chance, history, and mechanical failure. A coin that is both visually striking and historically significant, a coin that could be the centerpiece of any collection, museum, or private investor portfolio. And this is why a single 1993 penny could be valued at $1.9 million, because it combines rarity, visual impact, historical context, condition, and imagination into one extraordinary object. And beyond the technical and physical aspects, there is also the psychological allure, because collectors and enthusiasts love the thrill of discovery, the excitement of finding something that should not exist, and the possibility that an ordinary coin in circulation could secretly be worth millions. And the 1993 penny embodies all of these possibilities, serving as a reminder that even the most common, mundane, and overlooked coins can hold hidden treasures, incredible mistakes, and the potential to change the lives of those who recognize their value. And as we explore all the types of errors and mistakes that make this coin so valuable, from double dies to off-center strikes, die breaks, misaligned mint marks, strike-throughs, off-metal strikes, and the survival of a pristine mint state condition, the story of the 1993 penny becomes one of the most fascinating modern numismatic tales, capturing the imagination of collectors, historians, and casual enthusiasts alike, and encouraging everyone to look more closely at the coins they handle, because you never know when an ordinary penny could reveal itself as a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And the legend of the 1993 penny continues to grow as collectors speculate about what unique combination of errors might exist, where such a coin might be found, and how it could potentially transform the world of modern coin collecting. And the excitement, imagination, and possibility surrounding this coin is what keeps collectors searching, analyzing, and dreaming about discovering the ultimate rare error coin. Last, 2003 Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that at first glance might appear completely ordinary, just another mass-produced penny from the early 2000s, but in reality, this coin has the potential to be worth a staggering $37 million due to a combination of rare mint errors, production anomalies, mechanical mistakes, and the extraordinary circumstances that can turn an everyday coin into a legendary numismatic treasure, and today we are going to explore every possible reason why a 2003 penny could reach such astronomical value, examining the types of errors and mistakes that collectors are constantly on the lookout for, the production environment at the time that made such errors possible, the historical context, the technical possibilities, and the sheer improbability that transforms ordinary pocket change into a coin worth tens of millions of dollars. So welcome to this deep dive into the fascinating, mysterious, and sometimes almost unbelievable world of modern coin collecting, where the story of a small copper-plated zinc penny can become one of the most talked about and sought-after stories in numismatics. And to understand why the 2003 penny has such immense value, we first need to look at the year 2003 itself, a period when the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies annually, operating multiple high-speed presses at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, under intense production schedules and immense mechanical pressure. And while the vast majority of these coins were produced flawlessly, the laws of probability, combined with human and mechanical imperfections, suggest that a few coins could slip through the cracks with errors that were dramatic, rare, and potentially worth an extraordinary amount. And one of the most important categories of errors to consider is the die error, which occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a defect or anomaly such as doubling, misalignment, cracks, cuds, or die breaks. And in the 2003 penny, collectors have speculated about varieties where these kinds of die anomalies might have produced subtle or dramatic effects on Lincoln's portrait, the date, or the lettering on the reverse. And while the most common pennies are mass-produced and identical, these rare mistakes create coins that are visually striking, unique, and highly valuable, because the more dramatic and unusual the die error, the higher the potential valuation. And one of the most fascinating die errors in coin collecting is the double die, where the die receives multiple impressions during hubbing in slightly different positions, producing a doubling effect on the coin, which can be seen on Lincoln's profile, the date, or even on the lettering of the word America. And double dies have historically produced some of the most valuable coins in existence, from older classics like the 1955 double die cent to modern anomalies that command extraordinary sums at auction. And while the 2003 penny does not have widely documented major double dies, the possibility of subtle or extreme varieties has always kept collectors searching for something unique, because a single, dramatic double die in combination with other errors can elevate a coin from common to virtually priceless. And speaking of combinations, another major category that can drastically increase the value of a modern penny is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned within the press at the moment of striking, producing coins that are partially struck, with blank areas along one or more edges. And while minor off-center strikes are collectible, extreme off-center strikes on a coin like the 2003 penny, particularly one where the date remains fully legible, are exceedingly rare and highly sought after. And if a 2003 penny exists with a significant off-center strike in combination with a double die, die breaks, or other anomalies, it becomes instantly legendary, because the rarity of the combination, the dramatic visual appearance, and the survival of the coin in pristine condition all contribute to an enormous perceived value. And beyond die and strike errors, planchet errors represent another category of mistakes that can produce extraordinary coins, because the 2003 penny should have been struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet introduced in 1982. Yet theoretical possibilities exist for leftover bronze planchets from prior decades, experimental planchets, or foreign blanks to have been accidentally fed into the press, producing a coin with a completely unexpected metallic composition. And such off-metal strikes are extremely rare, highly collectible, and dramatically increase the potential value of the coin, especially when combined with other anomalies, because collectors prize the improbable and visually unique. And in a modern penny, the chance that multiple errors occurred simultaneously is exceedingly small, which is precisely why a coin with multiple extreme features could be worth tens of millions, because rarity, condition, and the uniqueness of the error drive valuation in the collector market. And speaking of condition, this factor is absolutely crucial, because modern copper-plated zinc pennies are fragile, easily scratched, prone to corrosion, plating delamination, blisters, and surface imperfections. And finding a coin that combines multiple dramatic errors and survives in perfect mint state condition is extraordinarily rare. And when such a coin exists, collectors, investors, and institutions are willing to pay staggering sums to acquire it, because the combination of extreme rarity, perfect preservation, and dramatic visual appeal creates the ultimate formula for multi-million-dollar valuation. And the human element of imagination and speculation further amplifies this effect. Because collectors love the idea of secret treasures hidden in ordinary coin jars, drawers, and rolls, and when a story spreads about a coin that could combine multiple extreme errors, the legend grows, inspiring thousands of collectors to search, examine, and analyze every coin they encounter in hopes of discovering something extraordinary. And this is exactly how coins acquire almost mythical valuations, because the story, the hunt, and the speculation become inseparable from the coin's actual value. And in the case of the 2003 penny, collectors imagine hypothetical scenarios where a coin could exist with multiple anomalies, such as a dramatic double die, a severe off-center strike, die breaks or cuds, misaligned or repunched mint marks, strike-through objects embedded in the coin during production, off-metal composition, or even experimental die configurations. And if all of these extreme errors coincided on a single coin, preserved in flawless mint state, it would be the ultimate collector's dream, the centerpiece of any collection, museum, or private portfolio, instantly legendary, and potentially worth $37 million, because in the world of rare error coins, it is not just the presence of a single error that matters, but the improbability of multiple errors occurring together, the dramatic visual impact, the condition, and the historical significance of the coin. And collectors are well aware that modern coins are mass-produced, making extreme errors incredibly rare and highly coveted. And beyond the technical factors, there is also the psychological and market factor, because when collectors, investors, and institutions believe a coin could exist with such rare features, demand skyrockets, stories spread, and the perceived value grows even higher, fueling further interest and speculation. And this is precisely why the legend of the 2003 penny reaching $37 million continues to capture attention, because it combines the tangible, mechanical possibilities of coin errors with the intangible, almost mythical allure of rarity, storytelling, and imagination. And history has shown that coins with extreme anomalies, dramatic visual appeal, and perfect condition often achieve extraordinary auction prices, inspiring treasure hunters to search through inherited collections, long-forgotten coin jars, unexamined bank rolls, and storage boxes in hopes of discovering the ultimate modern rarity. And this pursuit of hidden treasures, combined with documented precedents of modern error coins achieving extreme prices, gives collectors confidence that such a coin could exist. And when we consider all the types of errors that could be present on a 2003 penny, double dies, off-center strikes, die breaks, cuds, strike-throughs, off-metal strikes, misaligned mint marks, or unusual die clashes, we begin to see how one coin could plausibly combine these features into a coin of near mythical value. And this is why collectors continue to search for and dream about the 2003 penny, because even though it seems ordinary, the extraordinary possibilities hidden within its production, combined with perfect preservation and historical context, elevate it to legendary status. And the story continues to fascinate collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike, inspiring endless searches, examinations, and discussions about the most unusual, rare, and valuable modern coins. And if you enjoyed exploring the incredible story of the 2003 penny and its astonishing $37 million potential, make sure to stay connected, continue searching through your coins.